Thumbs up if you can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right, sorry.
And we do have, we have John with us, as we said in our agenda, the new town manager, so, happy that he was able to join us, so he's gonna be sitting in here tonight, so. Debbie has volunteered to take notes for us. Did everyone get a chance? I know I sent those minutes out a little bit late, but did everyone get a chance to take a quick look at those? Any issues from our last meeting? So if somebody, made a motion to approve those, we could approve them. Motion. And if someone seconded that, then those are approved. I will send those along to get posted. I put Jared on the hot seat right off the bat with any updates. Lindsay had a couple things that Amanda was gonna bring along, but I haven't.
Yeah, I can give you some updates on, if you have any questions. We have another presentation on the Uptown Landing project on Monday. We have continued public hearings. Their project, we don't have the report back from from MRB, our engineers yet, as far as the value of the amenities they're offering and if they jive with what they're saying. They're just a second check for us. They are, as you guys know, the playground equipment, the new bathrooms, the trail, and other improvements along Blue Heron Park in the Uptown area. So that's gonna be a pretty significant thing.
And that was all that in the incentive zoning.
Yep. So at the end of the day, we'll get we'll get about $1 million worth of, between 750 and $1 million worth of incentives from them, which is not insignificant. We continue to look at acquiring new lakefront parcels for fishing access and other things. We've been in discussion with, continued discussion with owners along the area about what we can do and how we can make that come together. Nothing that I can share at this time, but there's positive traction being made for another fishing location along our shoreline of the lake, which would be fantastic. And the DEC has been very helpful with that. So supported with DEC funding for the project that we're looking at. We thought we had the Bernatovich property moving along. We've not received reimbursement for the grant yet that we put in to expand that 12 acres. We had a little glitch when the purchase of the property was just rolled right into the other acreage at Ononda into one parcel. It needs to be separate to allow the city to own it for at least a minute and then transfer it to us. So we now have to uncouple it from the rest of Ononda. So that's going to take a little while, but Kevin Olvani and his crew have been working hard with that.
Why does the city have to have?
Because the water source grant comes through the city. So the city got the grant comes through the city. Kevin's using watershed money to move it over to the watershed to kind of funnel that. So we're buying it using the city's money. So they have to kind of buy it, own it for the day, and then they get the grant.
You said funnel because it was water.
Yeah, funnel it down in there. You got it. I don't know, do you have any questions for us? We're still looking at improvements for Ononda. That's going to be off a little bit further than we had hoped because we haven't had the seeker resolutions for that had not happened. So that's the next step. That will be a long seeker. We'll have to probably do some other historic surveys as well before we can do any work on that parcel for the road and for anything else because of the significance of the area. I'm sure they'll make us do the whole thing before we do any work there.
So before any road work can be done or anything with the placement of that cabin, it's gotta, there's more hoops to get through.
Yeah. And the road work, we're looking at that. We can't start that this year. So that's pushing back off a little bit more. But yeah, we have to do the seeker, which is environmental quality review, SHPO, which is the state historic preservation. Both of those surveys need to be done. And it's a process and a waiting period for that. Once those are done, then we can start to move forward a little bit more.
When's that ARPA money have to be spent by?
2026, I believe. We have
end of of 2026. It's got
We
to be
have-
allocated by the end of this year.
Yeah.
Spent by the end of 2026.
So we still have time, and if something there are ways that we can still, if, say something happens and there's an extreme roadblock, we have that ARPA money there. We could use that ARPA money for another project that has funding but would qualify for ARPA if we needed to, but I don't think we'll need to. I think, but the road is gonna eat up all the ARPA money.
Right.
So once we start that, we'll have no problem with the road. I don't know if you want any updates about anything else?
Really, the two big things out there, Onanda and Blue Heron.
Mhm. Your hunting stand, your tree stand is almost done.
Where's that?
The one on Brickyard Road, the big white one,
Oh.
the big white one
The
there.
top of the crane.
Yeah, right up there.
Yeah.
You'd have to get craned up right now, but that's, should be enclosed by winter. So maybe you'll have, maybe for, late muzzle loading, you guys will be able to get out there and sit on the top of that thing.
Talk to the Pritchards.
Yeah, see what you can do. And we have, and I'm sure you saw, we have we have a parks director position in the budget. I don't know if you have any questions about that either.
That was one of the things I'd add. Any specifics on that? Any?
So, Lindsay and I have actually been talking to try to make sure that we get somebody in sooner. And, we actually have an idea, potential internship to start of, somebody who, is very, very interested, finishing up a sports management degree. And so we're gonna be meeting with that person next week to see if if we're able to work with an internship, which then potentially turn into the actual position if everything's successful and all works out. And, but it's begin preliminary phases of just meeting with the person first and seeing what program requirements are for the internship to see if we can even accommodate it and do it. We thought that might be because there's a civil service position which has no current list right now. So, and the way civil service positions lists have been going, you don't get many people on these lists, and so we're trying different ideas for recruitment of staff, and I think this one is it works out. I think it'd be good to start off this way and get somebody who.
Are you planning to wrap anyone in from this committee when you sit down with this person?
Yeah, so again, we will, it's gonna be a very informal thing to start with, just first determining if we can even accommodate an internship. So then we're gonna, if we are able to, we think the person, we're able to accommodate the internship, then we're gonna do some more formal stuff and so on, so.
What would be a quick overview kind of what duties would they take over from Lindsay that she's currently doing?
Yeah, so that's the question. That's what we're gonna work through before our meeting next week so that we have something, to see if that aligns with whatever the internship requirements are. I don't know that offhand because that's, Lindsay and I haven't discussed that. I don't know exactly everything she does yet, so with that. But, I think the idea with this position, this director position, however it may go, is to remove her completely from Parks and Rec, so focus on HR stuff, so.
So the day-to-day interactions with Andy and her team that she uses,
Yeah.
this person would take over kind of
Do all that.
supervising that and their roles and.
It's gonna be the director of the department, so they're gonna be taking over all of those things.
And then they'd be the link between the YMCA with that program and would take over that and managing any additional recreational opportunities, things like that.
And there will be a written job description.
Yes.
Could you pass that through our committee?
Yeah, I
when
would
that's
say,
done?
we'll look for input. If you guys have any ideas or thoughts, what you think, or things that you've seen, because you've been around, you guys have, this committee's been functioning as you guys for quite a while, which is awesome. So what suggestions, do you have any ideas, do you have any thoughts, things that you'd like to see, ideas that you've had? And then since you are here, this is one of the unique committees because it's actually a formed one, appointed one with terms, so it's more of a, it has, more, what do you want to say? It was the creation of it was a little bit more deliberate, so we'll have them look at the job description and just kind of see, and hopefully think of other things and things that we could do to maybe bring more revenue in the parks.
Okay.
Any thoughts? I do have one more, when we move on from the parks, I have one other thing too.
Before we leave, talking about Ononda, any more from the DEC on the transfer? You've been back with that.
I'm glad, I don't know how I even forgot that. So I got an awesome email from Zach Odell at the DEC. I made a few, I had a few conversations with some of our friends in Albany. I'd been told for about a year and a half that it was in the hands of the comptroller, but funny enough, the comptroller never had it. So there are a few phone calls made. Zach reached out. He said, because I met with Tim, the Region 8 director, probably in the spring. We walked it, talked about our goals, talked about the ideas, what we had for the park. I hadn't heard anything, but after I had spoken with Alexis at Assemblyman Gallahan's office, she made a couple phone calls, and I got an email from Zach saying, after your meeting that you had with the regional director, we're ready to move forward with the process. So we sent them a copy of the most recent survey of the lakefront area, and they're gonna have to look at that and approve it. I'm cautiously optimistic. We've been down this road before. We did this and then COVID hit and then the wheels fell off. And then we thought Cuomo was gonna pull it through and then Cuomo disappeared. So hopefully, I'm cautiously
Positive
optimistic
traction.
that we are on the homeward stretch and that something will happen soon. Because this is a place where we have not been yet. With that moving through the DEC and now them asking us for documentation. I had the Auburn Trail. Any other questions about that? All right, Auburn Trail, but we had 50,000 in the budget for Auburn Trail, but we cut that down because we don't have any progress to make right now. So we just took that down to a placeholder of $1 for right now. If we need money, the plan is to find it somewhere or use open space money or whatever else we can to help acquire any of that land needed for the easement. If we are able to move forward with easements, because we're stuck. The airport getting from across the street over towards Brickyard is the struggle right now.
So there was discussion at a Public Works meeting maybe 2 weeks ago about the Auburn Trail. So I had emailed Jim. He said there's still work being done on trying to get easements from, I think he said a landowner and a business. So are they still trying to?
Yeah, he's still working. I would say he's working those angles on a couple. You've got. I've drawn a blank on the names of the businesses, but I know you have Peter Brew, who's back there, and you have Randy Clark. You have Randy, who I believe still has some of that. But Jim's more on that. He's got more on that line of things.
Okay. So he's looking more, I mean, really, there's a connection. If we can get that little bit, we've got the berm that goes all the way over there and that kind of hit a little bit of a roadblock once we got over there.
I mean, we can get there. I mean, if we can get those two, we can get to the.
At least to Brickyard Road.
Brickyard Road,
Right.
and then it's, if the airport would just agree, but
Yeah.
they won't.
Well, I always look at it, you drive the Auburn or ride the Auburn Trail through Victor and it does hit the road here and there for little stretches.
Yeah,
If we could get to Brickyard Road, then we can get to Purdy Road.
Yeah.
And then, hopefully we've got more coming from Purdy over at some
and
point.
then the water line's already in.
Right.
Along that area,
Right.
closer to that.
Do you anticipate a problem with the airport?
They've already said
Yeah.
no.
They did.
Yes,
That is the problem.
that is the problem. That is the problem.
problem.
I worked through Schumer's office to try to get clearance because they consider the trail a road. They
Who
said
does?
the FAA, not the airport, it's above them. The FAA considers it a road because of the width. And they're like, it's a stone road. I'm like, it's a walking trail. But there could be cars on that walking trail because it's wide enough for cars. So it's within their crash zone, it's within their safety zone.
So, who's involved in, trying to create an option to the airport property? Is there another option to the airport?
Versus using the airport
Because the
property,
airport's owned by the county economic development.
Right.
I'm on that committee. I
Right.
can bring that on.
we could bring it on and we could take it to the board, but it's, what my feeling was in dealing with them, it's out of their hands because they have to get FAA permission. That's why I had to go to Senator Schumer's office. And he then represented us for the FAA.
But if
And
you
they said
squawk, that'd be great.
I'm
But if you would, you would get
I'm
upset.
with
Karen, you're not a squawker.
Yeah,
I mean,
Listen, I'm the one that interviewed Bob Minzer for the job and
Yeah.
recommended him. that
I
we
mean,
give
we'll
it to
just-
him. I can do this.
we'll just pull county funding, I guess.
because that would make a huge
So-
difference to the Auburn Trail.
I'll bring it
Now,
up.
Karen, please let us know how it goes when you bring that up,
I would,
when you squawk.
I'd like,
When's the
I-
next? Let me know when the next
they
meeting
kept
is too.
changing the meetings.
Yeah,
But I would like to have information that we could all understand
mhm.
why they're not doing this. You know,
Because,
If it makes a difference in making it narrower and that,
Yeah.
Is that a possibility?
yeah, that where.
they didn't give me anything. The answer was no, because you could have vehicles on there and it's too close. That's
So,
the
so
only
now the
answer I
trail's
got.
10 feet wide, isn't that what it has
Yeah.
to be by something like that? So I mean, I don't know, I think by,
So could we,
How about we paint the
could
gravel
we
green?
make it a local trail and then narrower? And this is what I'm going to ask,
Mhm.
and then donate it to the Auburn Trail, however they do that. Because isn't that what the Ontario Pathway, is that 10 feet wide also?
yes.
That entire
I think so,
trail is?
I mean, it's great, it's more than 10 feet wide,
But there's parts,
that are narrower than 10 feet.
That are narrower
Right,
than 10
absolutely.
feet
In fact, the bridge, the railway bridge on whatever that is, I don't think that's 10 feet wide.
No.
Yeah.
so there has to be some way to get around that, so that's.
But I think the big thing is new construction of a trail now and any ADA compliance types things is,
Well, I understand.
yeah.
Who do you think advocates for ADA?
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's gonna be a holdup to try to narrow it down is gonna,
But if it were if you could go from 10 feet to 9 feet, then the FAA does it. What's the
Right.
FAA's definition of a road?
Right.
If we can get inside
What's
of
the
that and
cutoff?
still make, then we complete the Auburn Trail. Great.
right,
I can take my mobility scooter on a 5-foot wide sidewalk.
But, you know, it's gotta go two ways. That's gonna be the hook on that,
I
you
can
know.
pull over to the side.
I agree with you. It's never gonna be enough traffic that you need to go.
I know, right.
but again, as long as we don't lose sight of that, at least if we can do some local work to get to Brickyard Road without,
Okay,
in the meantime, again, if you can get on Brickyard Road, then we've got
Then we're there.
Brickyard Road to, you know, not ideal, but it's better than not being
Right.
able to get from.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's Outhouse Park to Brickyard Road, to Purdy Road,
Yeah.
to the Auburn Trail.
Right.
So,
I will bring it up at our next.
thank you. And anything else on, was that what you had was?
Yeah, that's all that I was gonna add.
Lindsay had sent along a couple of items. One was they're in the midst, kind of end of the season, still mowing, which I don't think I've ever had to mow my lawn this much in the fall, summer. and
Yeah,
So, I mean, they really much better than when we had
white boys.
the outside people that were doing the mowing. I mean, they've done a great job, so
Yeah.
pass that along.
Definitely.
She also said still she wants to continue discussion. We talked at our last meeting, the possibility of ARC doing something with the concession at
Motion junction.
Motion Junction, to have a little bit of a setup where they can kind of a modified version of the coffee shop that they had up at where was it, on 332 there, next to Stella's. So we will continue discussion with that, and if I think the holdup was getting a C of O for the for the buildings there. Was that the discussion at our last meeting? I think that was, something hadn't been completed there and still some holdup getting into that building. But,
I think we're still wrestling with how to rent that pavilion out.
I thought it was supposed to have gone live, that there was, oh, you know what? No, you're right.
I don't
It
think
was
is.
because of the C of O.
Yeah.
That's what they were waiting on. So there was
Yes.
still some work that had to be done and, so I haven't heard any update on what, in the last month, what's happened there. But, and the other thing that she mentioned was that, Old Brookside built it is considered a town park, their little playground. But their homeowners association built a Gaga pit in, the playground over there. Positive feedback,
What did they use?
Tons of
so I have no idea. No
It's
idea.
dirt,
Just wondering.
it's not a concrete base.
It's not, they put, it's dirt or do they put stone down?
I don't know.
Dirt turns into mud. I'm just wondering. I mean,
It was an Eagle Scout project, so I don't know the parameters.
Right.
From what I saw, the pictures I saw, it was hard to tell inside.
Okay.
So we're gonna maintain it? The Gaga pit, yeah.
The Gaga pit,
Yeah.
So the town will take that over and maintain it?
they don't pay into an HOA, I mean, nobody else to maintain it.
Okay.
That would be my assumption.
Wait, Brookside doesn't pay into it, HOA?
Brookside doesn't have an HOA.
Oh, I thought you just said.
Oh, that's what I
They
thought.
have-
That's how I thought I got funded.
They have I believe they have a homeowners association, but they have that parkland in the middle, so it's a weird situation over there.
So did they get approval to put the Gaga pit on the playground from the town before they did it?
Yeah, they worked
Okay.
through Lindsay with that,
Okay.
yes.
The other, next thing on our agenda, and with Jared here, this is going quick, I was surprised. Halloween at Ononda.
Saturday, right?
Saturday, so if I can get the witch from Dave, so,
I think we have
Peggy's
to
working.
wait.
can I get Peggy's
No,
witch?
like, what direction?
What do you just call Peggy? Yeah, we get the wait.
I've got, and Lindsay has left the decorations that we saved from last year. I'll bring my pop-up table again. I bought a little blow-up pumpkin. I'm gonna be down there 1:15 to start setting up. Last year it took about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just to set our little booth up. No bags of candy this year. We're just fill a big bowl and hand out a piece of candy or two
Yeah.
just drop them in the kids' bags. Just hit me just now. We are kind of the first table. Should we try to get 100 some type of bag? The number of kids that come through without a bag,
What kind of bag are you talking about, like
even, well, you used to get those handy shopping bags, those
Yeah,
plastic
yeah,
shopping
yeah,
bags
yeah.
at the
Can't do that
store,
anymore.
but you can still buy them.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, maybe, let me look, I just thought of it, because we've had kids that have shown up, and we're the first table.
Yeah,
And they haven't had a bag, and parents are, trying to,
I'll look too, Mark, so
So-
if you find them, but maybe they've just got them.
Tops sells them for $5 for 100 of them or
yeah, if
something.
you're really gonna do the plastic. right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sell for
One's gonna end up in the lake.
$5.
What's that?
One's gonna end up in the lake, right?
Right, so,
Okay.
but they'll have candy in them though, so if you find them, you've got all the candy. But
Is this coordinated with a downtown event that's happening at the
It's
same
never
time?
coordinated,
No.
it's always the
No.
same day.
Yeah.
My daughter was just complaining about it, cause it's like a huge day for the kids and it's like an 8-hour trick or treat.
Oh,
yeah,
Rough.
So, Mark, next year we should think ahead, and I'm sorry I haven't been at meetings, but I explained. And offer it to the community to print up some Halloween bags, there have to be businesses. I know my Rotary
Well,
Club gets a business that'll print up things for us like that and hand it out at the first one, it's advertising for them.
so that's something we could offer, that we would hand it out, but I think that the event committee I think has to decide that that they would wanna take that on and do that. So I just don't wanna,
I'm not gonna bring it up to Oksana. You
So,
can bring it up to
we're-
Oksana.
But we could do 200, and when you're out, say the first 200 bags are gone, after that, they're gone.
No more candy,
What?
no more candy.
No, no
after
more
the first
bags.
Well,
We
I,
can
you know what,
eat it here.
I really don't wanna get into, here's a bag for everybody.
Yeah,
Because A, you're not gonna know how many it is. B, it's a pain in the neck to go out and get advertising and printing and do all that stuff. And, I mean, most of the kids show up and they've got their cute pumpkin, they've got their trick or treat
Pillowcase.
things that they do. So,
so maybe tops 100 of them, whatever, $5.
it just hit me that 10 kids show up
Yeah,
out of the 400 kids that went through last year, you
yeah,
know, 10 had need for a bag. So, I mean,
that's just poor parenting.
so I think one of them was one of your grandchildren.
Only poor
But like I
parenting-
said.
The only poor parenting we get, we'll take it.
But,
What's the time again?
so the handing out of the candy is from 2 to 5. The event is 2 to 5. I'll be down there early. If anyone else wanted to just swing in for,
I'll be.
you know,
I'll
an
get there-
hour
I'll get
here
there
to
once.
help hand out. Dan, you were there last year. We stood there, or Jamie was there. I can't remember, but previous years. If you have a costume, throw it on. I wore, you know,
A hot meal.
I have a $5 costume from the Goodwill shop this year. If Beth talks me into wearing it, I'll see, but. So I wore a Canandaigua, I might wear a Canandaigua Braves hockey jersey again, but,
Oh, you should wear that.
so.
I'm sending you the letter, the rejection letter from the FAA.
Oh, you have.
I just sent it to you. It's got all the details.
Send it to Karen too.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the
Um,
letter.
So, and then the next thing, I made note of senior programming. Karen, I do want to say that in my discussions with Lindsay about this position, that one of the things on that list of things would be senior programming for the Parks and Rec director,
Because
so.
we do have a couple of new people showing up now every week, but, we haven't had any opportunity to try to expand it. We had planned on doing like a picnic during the summer, and, like I said, I got busy during the summer. But we still will be going to the Mendon Show, and, last year Lindsay had tickets for a show at the, Canandaigua Theater. thing.
Performing arts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fort Hill
And
Performing Arts.
we have people that liked that, so, and, we still have access to the trips through Victor if we want to. But pretty much people are interested in sitting and talking and playing games. And, you think of anything else for old people to do, let me know.
Has Quail Summit been coming down?
No.
Cause I went and did a whole presentation there earlier and I told them about it and they were so excited.
Well, yeah, we've
Got a few years
worked
out.
with them,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
And I set them up with some entertainment for some of their events,
Did-
and screw it, I'm
Didn't,
not gonna
but
deal
didn't
with
somebody,
it again.
didn't some of their staffing change? Didn't they
Yeah.
lose?
They have the same staffing as they did, except for the, director, as they did when we worked with them.
Okay, I thought they had a
Problem is,
recreation.
They're affiliated with St. Anne's, and St. Anne's has the final say on all of that stuff. So
Okay,
they don't seem to want to
Jump on.
integrate. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. That's all I had. I don't know if we had any other kind of a slow time really for us. John, just for your information, we'll meet again. We kind of combine our November and December meeting into an early December rather than a meeting on Christmas Eve and the night before Thanksgiving, which always happens to be that Wednesday, the third Wednesday of the month, or too close to Christmas, so we combine and have one meeting, busy time, so. And then again, we'll roll off again, starting in January, and we've had some discussion at our meetings about going to an every other month. Town code, again, we're an advisory committee, you know, for the town board, but by town code, we're required to meet 4 times a year. So we've been meeting really about 11 times a year. So I think we found that with new technology and internet and things that a lot of the updates, and if there is a need to get information back to the town board, we can do that through email and things like that. So our discussion through this year has been to maybe doing every other month Parks and Rec meeting, moving into next year, so.
So what about winter activities at Onondaga? Have you had that discussion at all? Are we
If-
going to
If
encourage
there's
that?
somebody,
Are
if
we going
we
to-
would more than encourage it, if you wanna plan a winter activity, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to, we don't have a dedicated person.
Yeah.
In my mind, if that person would, and maybe it's not necessarily they have to run it, maybe they have a connection with the YMCA and they wanna have a,
Well,
use
no, just-
Onondaga
Just
for,
to have,
Right.
sledding available and, a hot chocolate.
We-
Well, I think this is where a full-time director of
Yes.
Parks
Right.
and Rec is gonna come to play, where those are things that are all year long, to be able to plan those activities and in the winter
Put
months.
that on the
Yeah.
list.
Well, the LDC is doing that winter in Canandaigua, and it might be an opportunity to do something if there's snow at Onondaga, just if it were on the schedule that way, we just have to manage some way.
It just seems to me that we could be creative about something. That is a huge park. There's a flat area by the lake, there's a hilly area, there's room for food trucks, there's parking. We have the area and we shut it off. And by the way, why is the roadway to the lake still closed off?
Oh, you mean way down by the pavilion there?
I don't know, it was.
It was last week.
well, again, there's something, that type of
Yeah.
activity for a Parks and Rec director. Again, we kind of struggle with that because, again, we had the big discussion, we are an advisory board. We're not the board that runs a winter activity or,
Right, I understand. I understand that, but I think we just need to be creative and, we're not just a summer community. And we've demonstrated that in many ways, we have a mountain a couple of miles from us, they call it that, anyway.
we'd be very supportive of anybody taking on and wanting to organize anything for an event at Onondaga for the
Although
winter,
they're predicting a very mild winter.
so. But
I did have somebody who was offering to sell the light display from the Victor Hills Golf Course. All the holiday lights that they have up there,
Wow.
And do like a drive-through.
do a drive-through light thing. It's,
The infrastructure that you would need to do that would be.
no, just a couple extension cords.
Yeah.
can't run it off solar.
Put up a windmill,
I don't know if the power grid down that way.
put up a windmill, and we're good to go.
We'll get the solar panels, wewe'll get solar panels.
Yeah. MRV can do a study,
You
yeah.
have to approve a lot more generators if you're gonna
Yeah.
put some lights in.
Yeah. So I don't have anything else. I mean, we've been through this pretty quick, and like I said, it's really kind of a catch your breath at the end of the season. We'll kick off January with, rolling back into the events that we do, our concerts and movie night at Outhouse Park. And anyone else that wants to use the park for any of those events, we encourage them to do so. So,
So your next meeting is not December 11th?
yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be a combined November, December meeting. We'll meet December 11th.
Back here.
And I think it'll be in this room, right? I
I'm sure.
think,
That will definitely, yeah, that'll have people
yeah,
starting to.
so. So does anybody else have anything else to add? Dave, anything coming from the town board? Anything that's popped up, I guess, with the two of you with parks related stuff
We're always advocating for parks.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but no, we're
Okay.
I'm personally kind of disappointed that we're not gonna get anything going at Onondaga, because we were talking about kicking it off.
Having
this
a
fall.
road, yeah.
which would have been great timing if we wouldn't interrupt the spring budget,
Yeah.
is what it is, so. Still got the money.
So could I borrow the cabin that was out here?
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
there's a homeless guy living in it now.
Mark's got two in his yard.
Yeah. On a side note, if I can, please encourage you guys and encourage everybody that you know to look at the landfill information. Send your comments to me. Because it's at the county board of supervisors, we're gonna be voting on December 5th. Whether to proceed as is or to proceed with closure and alternative. Landfill, the report's several hundred pages. There's a short little presentation that's on the website and will be going in the newsletter that I put together. And then any input. I've heard from 3 people so far, from 3 residents, and it got pushed out on Facebook and on the app and the emails and everything else, but
I didn't see anything on Facebook.
no, so we'll get that.
I've seen it in both places. And what do you call it? Talk, T-O?
My TOC,
TLC.
my town of Canandaigua. So I just want as much input as possible, because it's gonna be a difficult decision, and a highly debated decision as we go through.
And an expensive decision either way.
Either way, it's gonna be, yeah. Yep. So talk to your friends about garbage, talk to your friends about,
But have them respond.
have them
Get
respond.
Everybody, the more input there is, the
Yep.
better it is for.
Yeah,
all
just
we're
have them
gonna-
send me an
whatever's
email
gonna
that, look at the information and send me an email with their thoughts on it.
Okay. Anything else, anybody?
Thanks you guys for all you do. I know.
Thank
it's
you.
Well, I wanna thank John for coming. So
Yeah.
appreciate you changing your schedule and so joining us. Feel free anytime. So Wednesday
I
night
won't
is,
be able to make December 11th. My youngest has a play that night, so.
well.
Well, I'm gonna write that down, priorities.
I can cancel scouts much easier than that.
Yeah, no, that, you pay for that in multiple ways.
And John, anything that comes across your desk that you say, hey, here's an FYI to the parks, feel free to, forward the email to me or anything that's come up and, just to keep us in the loop, and then I can share with the committee. And, in the past, I've been able to gather some stuff and just information stuff, that you feel we might be interested in, even if it's not specific Parks and Rec, but, so. And Jared, thank you. Appreciate you.
I'll be here as much
Pitch
as I
hitting.
can.
So
Putting turf down at Motion Junction, is that something?
when are we doing that?
I don't know, when do you want to?
Okay. Okay, if someone made a motion to adjourn,
Outhouse West, do we
Oh.
not own all the way to Buffalo Street Extension? Do we own all the way Buffalo Street Extension? No, so Outhouse still owns that little piece that's not mowed?
You're talking on,
Outhouse West.
I know, but you're talking on the west side of
Right, on the
Outhouse.
west side.
Yeah.
Right. On the,
No, that's theirs, Stryker leases it, he farms that.
no, this is totally uncut. He mowed the.
You're talking about the big hill?
No, if you come straight out from Motion Junction and go right to Buffalo Street, he mowed that one big field, but he stopped and there's like a huge swale that's it's just golden.
corner- that corner?
Yeah, yeah. Who owns that?
I think is that
Is that still
still,
outhouses?
That could be under the bank manages it in a trust.
It's not part of the park, and it's not part of the.
no,
Cause it'd be
it
nice
isn't.
to mow that if we own it.
I don't think we
How
do.
far does the park own to?
Pretty far up over
Yeah,
the hill.
because over the hill,
I don't,
But it kind of wraps around.
Yeah, yeah,
That plot right there, I don't think is town.
yeah, I wondered that.
we don't own the hill, because
I know we don't own the hill.
in that lower area, because I talked to Strikers about that. Because they still farm
Right.
a bunch of that.
He was just in there bush hogging that not that long ago.
Yeah.
That is listed as being owned by Canandaigua National Bank and Trust
So
Company.
that's part of the trust.
So that's part of the
The
trust.
the land that the town owns kind of wraps around Motion Junction,
Right,
the border goes through, there's like a little brushy area back in there
mhm,
and wraps around and comes out about where you pull into Town Hall off Buffalo
Right.
Street.
right.
It kind of wraps around to Motion Junction.
Right.
I
There's
think
that
that,
one little spot that,
Trail.
yeah. I just thought it'd be nice if we could mow that.
yeah, that's being shown as Canandaigua National Bank and Trust Company. And I think it's some sort of trust for the outhouse family.
It's the outhouse estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. There had been some talk about a possible land swap along there, but it never.
Yeah.
And I think maybe Stryker stopped farming that because,
It's wet in there.
well, because of also maybe some concerns about doing some things that close to Motion Junction.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
like bush hogging.
Yeah,
Spray.
and I don't remember, but that seemed to be a little bit of the discussion.
There is gonna be work going on back there. At any time now, with some retention ponds, some
Yeah.
stormwater management projects on that hilltop. From behind Motion Junction all the way up the hill to try to put some basins in to slow the water down and provide some water quality.
So. Okay, did we get a motion and did we adjourn or no?
No.
I didn't hear that nice lady say that the recording's over.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Someone seconded that.
I second.
We could be done in less than an hour, which is the goal.
Better than a board meeting.
So, but, okay. Jamie, thank you.
See ya.